Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your favorite baby girl. Thank you so much for tuning in. So this is not going to be a long video. I just wanted to talk about what has been happening in Stellenbosch. I actually made a video last year in 2021 in around November, and I've been meaning to post it, but I just didn't get the chance to, and I just kept on procrastinating this whole YouTube thing. And I was just basically talking about my experiences in Stellenbosch. So I did think that it was very fitting for me to talk about my experiences now because of what has happened recently. If you don't know what has happened, I'm gonna leave an article like right here where you can just have a look, so you can just pause and read what happened. But long story short, what happened was that a university student at Stellenbosch University, a white guy entered into a black student's room and he urinated all over his properties. And in the video you can see that the white boy urinates on the students' books and laptops. So I'm not necessarily going to be talking about that, but I'm just going to be talking about my experiences about staying in Stellenbosch for about 2.5 years and all the things that I have faced. If you're really interested and keen to hear about my experiences, then please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned. So I moved to Stellenbosch in 2020, the beginning of 2020, and I am a culinary student. I'm in my 3rd year, but I think it's very important to note that I don't go to Stellenbosch University. So I don't think, I go to a private institution. So my experiences as a SU student is a lot more different compared to my experiences in a private institution in Stellenbosch. Moving to Stellenbosch was quite a change because I think I'm from Joburg, and I think in Joburg you see a lot more black people than compared to if you move to Stellenbosch, right? Stellenbosch is very white dominated. You get a lot of white people from South Africa, so your Afrikaans people, or maybe even like your English speakers, or maybe let's just say your foreign white people in Stellenbosch. You do get a lot of them. I've always heard stories about Stellenbosch, and I've heard stories about how even students' marks got manipulated. I think a while ago, I'm not too sure what happened, but I just know that white students' marks got manipulated. When I moved to Stellenbosch, there was a bit of anxiety that I felt. Not anxiety, but I think there was just a bit of there was a feeling that I needed to be vigilant because I'm moving to a white area. And I think growing up as a black young female, especially in this country, we all know racism, and I think the white people that have been racist have not been afraid to show their racism. You know, you definitely know when they're being racist towards you. It's not hidden. And so I think that's what, because I haven't really experienced racism, so I think with all the stories that I heard, and when I found out that I was going to Stellenbosch, I was like, okay, I'm probably going to experience racism. You already feel like whenever you're going to a white dominated area that your guard is up already. You are ready for any act of racism towards you, unprovoked. You can just be walking somewhere doing something and someone can just come up, and a white person can just come up and provoke you and just say something and insult you, and it's just like, you know. So I do think I had that feeling. Okay, so with what I've experienced, right, if you are looking to come to study at Stellenbosch, or if you're looking to stay at Stellenbosch, whether you're in Cape Town or Joburg or wherever, and you're looking to come and study at Stellenbosch, these are the things that you will expect or that will happen to you. If you're calling a shop in Stellenbosch, if you're calling a mall, if you're calling a doctor's room, if you're calling any shop or restaurant or whatever, chances are that 8 times out of 10 that they're going to answer the phone and speak to you in Afrikaans. That is it. Emails get written, the salutations are written in Afrikaans, they greet you in Afrikaans, they end it off in Afrikaans. Sometimes people will even have a full-blown conversation with you in Afrikaans, and you're just like, I don't speak Afrikaans. And I think answering the phone in Afrikaans is bad enough. That's what I think. And I think the fact that if you see the person, if you enter into a shop, they speak to you in Afrikaans. So it's like, I'm a black person, you can see that I'm a black person, and then you're still gonna speak to me in Afrikaans until you have to say, sorry, by the way, I don't speak Afrikaans and I don't understand what you're saying. I've had a lot of situations like that, And I think even in a lot of institutions as well, you know, you just find that, like, you know, some Afrikaans students get away with, like, they say if you're writing a test or an exam, whatever, and they speak Afrikaans and they don't know what the word is in English, can they write the word down in Afrikaans, you know? And so it's like, okay, so if I want to write down something and I don't know what it is in English, and if I want to write it in another language, will that be accepted? So, you know, it's things like that. I can also share another experience where I once went to a doctor's room, and so when I got my results back, they were all written in Afrikaans. And so I couldn't even tell what was wrong with me. I didn't even know if I was fine. I don't know if it was okay. I don't know if it was normal, because everything was just written in Afrikaans. And I was like, wow. Just wow. Wow. So also another thing is that it's a very weird thing, because I think also when I came to Stellenbosch, I expected the white people to speak to me in Afrikaans or have these sort of issues with, you know, specifically coming from white people. But sometimes you find that it's also colored people as well that tend to speak to you in Afrikaans, or they just, I don't know, maybe I look colored, I don't know what it is, guys, but you find that, like, the police, traffic police, they'll stop you, they'll greet you in Afrikaans, ask for your license in Afrikaans, and it's just like, I don't understand Afrikaans. And I think you really have to get into the habit, like, even if you do understand Afrikaans, like I do understand Afrikaans. I did Afrikaans in high school, so you can't gossip about me and I won't know. So I think I really got into the habit, especially at school as well, and just anyone that I met, that if you're gonna address me, you need to address me in English. And if you speak to me in Afrikaans and you know that I don't speak Afrikaans, and I've expressed that to you that I don't speak Afrikaans, and you still speak to me in Afrikaans, I'm gonna look at you dead in the eye. And that's the thing that really annoyed me, is that some white people, some colored people will look at you dead in the eye. Dead in the eye. They will look at you dead in the eye and speak Afrikaans. They will literally finish their sentence in Afrikaans, guys. Afrikaans people are very proud of their language, of their culture. They're very, very, very proud. But however, that just does not give them, it just does not mean that you need to speak to everyone in Afrikaans, more especially in a country like South Africa. You know where you are. You know where you are. So it's like, why? So those are just my experiences, guys, with staying in Stellenbosch. I do feel that if you're coming to Stellenbosch, you just need to be very aware, and you also just need to set the record straight and not tolerate people speaking to you in a language that you just don't want them to, you know. And I think you should just prepare yourself for you know, receiving calls and people speaking Afrikaans. Obviously you need to call them out on it, but this is just what I'm saying that you're gonna experience, that people will write an email with an introduction and an ending in Afrikaans. People will answer the phone, speak to you in Afrikaans. And even if you go to wherever you are, a shop, a restaurant, a doctor's room, whatever, people will look at you dead in the eye and still speak to you in Afrikaans. I do think that certain places where you go, you do get a feeling. There's sort of like an atmosphere. I know if you've ever been to like Pretoria West, this is something that I actually experienced, so I'm not even making this up. One time I went to Pretoria West with my parents, and I think we're walking around in a neighborhood, and you can just feel that atmosphere is tense, because you know when one white person starts to look at you and then the other, and then you just feel uncomfortable, because I think that the look that they give is a look of intimidation or sort of questioning like what you're doing here, but they don't actually say it, but you feel it, because it's like, why is there this kind of atmosphere, you know? So yeah, I think in certain places that you go to, in Stellenbosch or even in Cape Town in general, you do get that feeling of, yeah, some people can just make you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it may not necessarily be because of race, but because of the country that we live in, it's like race is the first thing that comes to mind, because racism is so real in this country. Sometimes it is a pity, because you just will never know what exactly it is, that why people are looking at you a certain way, or why you just feel, or why people have made you feel uncomfortable. But for me, how I've perceived it is that it's probably because I'm black. It's probably because I'm black, and that's it. And another thing is that I also think if you're staying in, because I didn't stay in Res because I don't go to Stellenbosch University. I was staying in a student accommodation though. But like, you just find that, you know, people just get certain preferences. You know, sometimes I feel like this racism thing is so deep, because I feel like some people, some white people genuinely don't know when they're being racist. To them, that's just how it is. And then when you call them out on being racist, it's like, what? Like, how the hell could you say that I'm racist? But it's like, what you did is actually racist, but they're not aware of that. So I think that's one thing that's actually quite tricky and quite deep. But yeah, I think even in the student accommodation that I stayed in, we had like a whole group chat with all the people that were staying there, and even the owners and, you know, whatever. And so you'd find that like white people would get away with certain things that black people wouldn't get away with. And I had seen this many times, and I've had experienced a lot of fights because of that. Like, a lot of the black people just weren't having it. A lot of the black people just stood up and said, I'm not taking this. And they called it out racism then and there. And I think it was quite interesting to see. But I think even in that, they still, the white people, like the people didn't think that they were racist. They just thought, I mean, I don't know, that's just how it is. This sheds light on Stellenbosch. I just came here to speak about my experiences and nothing else really. And just to reference to what happened to that student, which was so unfortunate. I think it was just very, very unfortunate. I don't even think suspension is enough. I really don't. I just don't believe that drunk behavior excuses you from your actions. Tell me what you guys think about everything that has happened concerning Stellenbosch University. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please like, comment, share and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you guys again on my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao.